Hey everyone, how's it going? Nice to see you in the new year. Thank you for tuning in. I think I got a good video for today, and I think it's going to be helpful for a lot of people that are local, that are Nova Scotians. Today I'm going to show you 10 waterfalls that you can see from Roadside. You can basically pull your car over to the side of the road and walk into the woods. Usually you even hear the waterfall before you even shut the door of your car. It's so close. So I'm gonna get right into it, and the order I'm gonna do this in, I'm gonna save my favorite for last. I'm gonna try to keep them in groups that are where they're all kind of in the same area. And the first couple that I'm gonna do, they are the only reason that they're at the bottom of the list is because they're kind of lone wolf. There's not groups of falls kind of near them that I'm gonna group them with anyway. So let's get right into it. First waterfall on the list is the Spencer Brook waterfall, and this waterfall is on the side of the highway as you're going to or from New Brunswick, and this is just before you get to the toll booth. I'll have a map to each one of these falls in the description, so you can go on YouTube and you can click the little twirly arrow thing, read the description, and you can see a map for each one of these. If you're coming from the Halifax area, you can go to a toll booth, turn around, at least I did, nobody got after me, and then you backtrack a kilometer and then you pull over to the side of the road, and this one has a very, very small bushwhack. It's just down into the ditch. The ditches on the highway seem to be a little bigger, so another reason why this one's the first, kind of like number 10 on the list. And then you come down to the river. It goes around a bend. You'll see some footpaths that go down to the base of the falls. It's a nice looking waterfall. It's fairly big. It's actually pretty aesthetically appealing. I don't know about the waterfall situation or water flow situation. I was only there once in the fall and it looked really good, sounded well, lots of water flowing. So okay, so on to the next one, which is number 9 on my list. This is going to be the Miller Lake Falls. I just did a full vlog to that. If you want to see it up here, pop-out card will come across. You can click on that and see that whole vlog. Miller Lake Falls, another easy one to get to. You can see it from your car. As you're headed to Halifax, you can get off the highway just after the first Bedford exit, and it's Perrin Drive. You take Perrin Drive and then you turn on to Sanctuary Crescent, I believe. You'll see a fairly nice house on the right across the road from the house on Crescent Drive. Find a safe place to park, and the waterfall's right there. There's a decent amount of water flowing this time of year for me, winter. I don't know what it's like all year round, but from the pictures I've seen online in different waterfall groups, it looks like it's pretty good water flow pretty much all the time. So, Miller Lake Brook Falls. If you didn't know there's a waterfall by Miller Lake, there is, and you can go check it out. Next on the list, number 8, is going to be the Bezansons Falls. Bezansons Falls are located in Mount Tom. So if you're coming from New Brunswick / Truro on your way to Pictou or New Glasgow on the old highway, you're going to turn left on Glen Road. And a couple kilometers up on Glen Road, you eventually go around a sharp turn. And you will see the waterfall from your car as you're driving. It's pretty tall. It's a pretty nice waterfall, and I've been there 3 times. Each time there's been a decent amount of water flowing. Another one easy to recommend. Number 7 on the list is going to be another one that's kind of a little bit of an outlier. It is more towards Antigonish. And it is, if you're on your way to the Arisag Provincial Park or the lighthouse along there, Arisag, however you want to pronounce it, there's a waterfall that you almost drive over top of with your car. Let me just give you an idea of where that is. Okay, so like I said, on your way to the Arisag Provincial Park, a couple kilometers just before you get there, on the 245 is at least what it's known as on Google Maps. You're going to pull over. There's a guardrail there. If you're headed towards Arisag, it's going to be on the left. It's a little bit of a muddy, a little bit kind of steep, but it's right there. There's not much hiking involved. This one, I want to give you the little bit of a caveat. It does dry up pretty bad in the summer, so if you're planning on seeing this one, maybe go after a rainfall if you can. It's pretty photogenic. It's a nice looking waterfall when there is water there. That's it for that one. We're going to move on to number 6 on the list. All right, number 6 on the list is going to be the Nuttby Falls. This is off the old 311 highway that goes between Truro and Tadmagush. So when you're in Nuttby, it's going to be on the highway. I'll have, again, the location on the maps, the best way to explain it. It's just a spot you got to know exactly where to park. I'll have that on the map. You pull over, it's on the right hand side of the road as you're headed towards Tatamagouche, and there's a little bit of a trail there and you'll hear the water. It's almost right on the side of the road. It's a very easy walk. It's a small waterfall, but one great thing about this one is it's a pretty deep swimming hole, a little bit cold. If you are visiting the Nuttby Falls, I'll throw in the next one, which is number 5, is the McKays Mills Falls. Other people may know it as the Earltown Falls. And if you've ever traveled between Truro and along the 311 highway and turned towards through Denmark and gone out towards Rushton's Beach or any of the beaches along there, along Brule, you'll have driven over a pretty nice looking waterfall without even knowing it. Caveat with this one is it's a very windy spot with nowhere really nice to pull over, so you're probably going to want to park somewhere near the general store in Earltown and walk up to this location. You're going to hop the guardrail. It's a little bit steep getting down to it, but not super dangerous. Me and my wife and my kids went down there with a little bit of footwork, but it was pretty good, and it's actually a nice tall waterfall. Had a pretty good water flow the day that we went down to it. I don't know what it's like year round, but I haven't seen it look dried up in any pictures I've seen online. Again, if you're coming from seeing the Nuttby Falls, this one's not too far from it. If you want to continue along that journey, if you're on your way, say to go to Brule or to Rushton's Beach or whatever along there, the next waterfall along that same route. Number 4 on the list is the Waughs River Falls. Some people call them, I think, the Power Station Falls. If you're headed towards Tatamagouche on the 311 and you see signs for the Balmoral Gristmill, you turn up that way, and shortly after you turn up, you'll go over a little bridge over the river, and the falls are right there. You just drove over them. You can get some nice pictures of the falls at that point. If you're feeling a little bit more adventurous, you can actually backtrack. There's Power Station Road, I think it's called. If you go back towards Tatamagouche, from where you turn towards the Balmoral Gristmill, there's just past that intersection on the right, you can park, kind of a dead-end little street there. You can park and there's a couple paths into the woods. They bring you down to a cool looking gorge that has a nice swimming spot in the summer. There's some ropes leading down to that, so it's not super easy, but it's a little thing you can add on if you're gonna go see these Waughs River Falls and any of the other falls mentioned in this video in the area. It's an easy one to add to the list. Moving on to number 3, and now we're gonna kind of head over to Pictou County. Number 3 on the list is a cool area. It's the Hopewell Falls. They're in Hopewell in Pictou County, and there's a nice little area. It's kind of like a little community park, I guess. There's a couple suspension bridges. It's a great place to take your kids for a walk, just to get out in nature for a minute, maybe pull over on the side of the road on the highway on your way to do something else for the day. It's a great maybe spot to stop and have a picnic. It's a nice maintained little park area, and then just right on the side of the road, you can see the Hopewell Falls. It's a nice wide river area. There's usually pretty good water flowing there, and it's a pretty good looking area, nice and wide, like I said. So moving along from the Hopewell Falls off to number 2. So the Park Falls is actually towards Thorburn, and it's off of Shearbrook Road, or the 347 as Google Map calls it. You eventually turn onto Park Falls Road, and shortly after you turn on the Park Falls Road, you cross the bridge and you're driving right over the first waterfall. There's a kind of a bunch of teardrops there. There's a nice swimming spot, several swimming spots, place to jump if you're brave. It's a popular spot that teenagers and kids come to swim. It looks like there's some fish there if that's your thing. It's a very easy falls to visit. It's easy to get down to, and it's pretty obvious. So add that to your list. And this is going to bring me to number 1, my favorite roadside waterfall, and it's even one of my favorite waterfalls that I found, is the Millbrook Falls in Pictou County. So if you're on the Trans-Canada headed towards Cape Breton, New Glasgow, the Salt Springs turn off roughly. You're going to turn off there. Again, this is all going to be on the map. So the area actually is called Millbrook. And when you get there, there's a guardrail. You pull over. If you're headed away from the highway, it's going to be on your left. And it's a very big waterfall. When I was there, this was in the spring. There's plenty of water flowing. I'm going to have to do a follow-up trip at a different time of the year to see what it's like, but it's a huge waterfall. Not exactly sure how to get to the base of it, but to get to the top, you pull over by the guardrail, hop the guardrail, and You can easily get a great view, great pictures, and it's like I said, one of my favorite waterfalls, and in my opinion so far, the best roadside waterfall. Anyways, guys, I hope this list is helpful to you. I hope it inspires you to get out in the winter and even in the summer, any time of year for that matter. But where we are limited in the winter somewhat, or if you have kids or dog with you and you don't want to do too much hiking into the woods, this is a great list, I think, that'll help some people get out there. I hope you enjoyed the video. I thank you for sticking along to the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.